Shalom, giving all praise to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutation as always to the elect. All right, and this is real quick. I'm going to bring this article out that was sent. I saw it yesterday and forgot to do a lesson on it. And one of the elders sent it again today. And all right, so I wanted to get this out there, and other brothers can look it up and do videos on it as well, if the spirit permits. If not, it's just more proof, that the Northern Kingdom came over here to the Americas, because there are more relics and findings linking the so-called Native Americans, so-called Seminole Indians, so-called Mexicans, all right, and so forth, all right, the so-called Latino and Native American Indian tribes, all right, to the Hebrew Israelites. All right, there's more relics found amongst them than there were found, amongst the so-called Negro, West Indian, and Haitian. All right, but you still have particular Israelites on this black-only kick, Negro-only kick, But I'll read the article, 800 Ancient Stones with Hebrew Writing in Puerto Rico, all right, which is the tribe of Ephraim, all right, and that name, Puerto Rico or Puerto Rican, was put on them by who? All right, the conquerors, man, the Edomites, all right, who came over to the Americas, all right, with Hebrew interpreters, might I add, all right. Yes, Christopher Columbus had a Hebrew interpreter because he knew, all right, using the Apocrypha, that he would encounter the Hebrew people, okay? And when they saw the land that, all right, the tribe of Ephraim was living on over here in the Americas, which the book of Second Esdras, the 13th chapter, gives you the rundown on how they got over here to the Americas, all right? But when they got over there, they saw the beauty of the land, which is actually a blessing that the Lord gave to Ephraim, all right, that the land that they would have riches and particular, things there that you wouldn't find anywhere else in the world, okay? So they called it the rich port, all right? Puerto Rico means port of riches, all right? That's not really the name of the actual people. They're Ephraimites, according to the Bible, the tribe of Ephraim, which means fruitful, okay? And you have various of those brothers who have woken up in these latter days, all right, and are at the forefront, on the front lines, teaching this word, man, according to biblical prophecy. So they are Israelites, man, okay? But as you read down, it says, a remnant of ancient stones, 20 of 800, made its way halfway across the world, solving a 3,500-year-old mystery. All right, what did the stones whisper about the pre-Columbian indigenous people of the island of Puerto Rico? All right, and there's various books where there's particular writers who wrote about, the findings of Christopher Columbus and his counterparts. I had a book called Lost Tribes in Promised Land, which it talked about, is written by a guy named Ronald Sanders, I believe, and he wrote about how he encountered the Native Americans, okay, and he said that they said that they were from the tribe of Reuben, and that, another tribe was nearby, man, okay, because those are Israelites, man. And the reason that, so much hatred is put on them by the so-called white man also links to the story of Jacob and Esau, all right? But according to prophecy, all right, and in prophecy, it was prophesied that there will be a separation and a lot of strife amongst the tribes. So a lot of the so-called Negro tribes like to say, well, they can't be Israelites because they hate us. Well, when you read in the scriptures, there was particular wars between the northern and southern kingdom. Okay, when you read in the scriptures, it talks about there will be strife between the northern and southern kingdom. We won't be united, all right, until the throne of David is reestablished, man. And we're being united right now through this word, through the doctrine going out, man. And niggas hate niggas more than anybody, man. Look what niggas did to the Messiah. All right, so that's a stupid logic. It says, after rigorous academic testing, anthropologists historians, academics, and millions of Puerto Ricans have finally have scientific evidence that reveals the language of the stones. All right. Growing up in the mountains of Borican, all right, Puerto Rico, my grandfather told me about some very unique stones which were part of our ancient Taino Indian history. These rare stones were in care of one of our greatest principal chiefs, Kakite, all right, and it gives his last name, who, when Columbus stumbled across our Taino people in 1492, was the principal chief of my home island, all right. So the principal chief of the island of Puerto Rico, all right, which was not discovered by Columbus or any of his counterparts, all right, that's another thing. The doctrine of discovery, all right, put forth the decree that, you know, the people that were there, because they were Israelites, they weren't human, therefore they discovered it. And these were Christians. So they would kill off the Native Americans there, the Israelites there, and say, we discovered it because these people are actually just another beast on the island. They're not humans. They're animals. They're savages. All right. And they would kill them and say, we discovered it. All right. So this chief, all right, that Christopher Columbus and his counterparts stumbled upon had these stones in his possession, and they had Hebrew writing on them. It says, the knowledge of these stones first came to light when a very sick Taino woman who had tried everything from indigenous herbal remedies to ceremonies laid on her deathbed, all right, compelled to tell a secret her family had carried for generations, all right. She sent runners to find someone in the church who would listen, all right, who would listen. Why she chose the church, we'll never know. All right. But a monk named Jose Maria Nazario Y. Cancel came to her, all right, bedside. What this elder revealed to this monk changed the historical narrative of our precious island. Okay. It says there in her tiny bohio, all right, the monk interceded for the old woman's healing. Then she told him her family secret, a secret that went back to the time of Kakik, all right, the principal chief of Borican, the Taino Indian name for Puerto Rico, which means the house of the great, all right, valiant Lord. In Puerto Rico, you know, before Esau put his hands on it, man, I mean, even still, it's beautiful, but that's a beautiful island, man. The Americas was like paradise, man. The gold, the animals, the water, the air. But when Esau got over here and got his hands on it, it turned into hell, man. Okay? Now the water's brown. You can't drink out of the lake. Okay, the Native Americans, all right, the Israelites, they didn't know of the sicknesses that they know of now that Esau's got here, man. And Esau absolutely massacred these people and celebrates it every year. Okay? It says her secret reveal were to find a hidden stash of stones, figurines inscribed with strange symbols and cravings of an ancient people that, all right, some called the Hibaru, all right, which is Hebrew. And the beautiful thing is, when you look into ancient Egyptian writings, okay, mainly the Amarna text, which is a series of writings where, you know, two Egyptian, you know, kings were writing back and forth about a particular war, and they mentioned, all right, or writing back and forth about plagues that were hitting the land. They mentioned the Haiparu or the Haibaru people because the P and the B were interchangeable, all right, back in the ancient Egypt. But here they were called the Haibaru, which is Hebrew, all right, who had lived in the mountains of the islands and still have descendants who call themselves by this name today. All right. It says Nazario had been educated at the University of Salamanca, all right. His studies had included ancient languages, and he was amazed at what he saw. After comparing the writings in these stones to others from around the world, he came to his conclusion this writing was a form of ancient Hebrew. All right, because as the time went on, they weren't speaking and writing in the original Paleo Hebrew, all right, Lashawan Kodash, but they had different dialects. Okay, it says because of his religious background, this fueled a possibility that a remnant of the lost tribes of Israel had settled on this island. All right, and real quick, let's get the book of Second Esdras to show you how the tribes got here. Okay, and this is why, and this is the book Columbus used to know where the Israelites were, man. All right. Second Esdras, the 13th chapter, and I'll just hit the point because I don't have that much time. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. Okay. Second Esdras 13 and 39, and whereas thou sawest he gathered another peaceable multitude, because remember the Lord said, all right, I have other sheep that are not of this fold. All right, he said that in John the 10th chapter. He was speaking of the Native Americans, man, over here in the Americas, man. He's gonna gather them as well, okay? Because he was at that time in Jerusalem with Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. All right. It says, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own line in the time of Hosea, the king, who Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, led away captive. Because remember, the 10 tribes, the northern kingdom, went into captivity via the Assyrian Empire. Okay, and then Judah eventually went into captivity under the Babylonians. Okay, it says, but after Solomon, all right, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom split. Under King David and Solomon, they were united, but at the time of Solomon's folly, the Lord rent the kingdom from Solomon and split it in half, and we haven't been together since then. We won't be brought back together, and we're being brought back together now, but we won't be one as a nation again until the Lord plants us in that land, man. And that will be the united kingdom of Israel, the throne of David, with the Messiah sitting on that throne, as it is prophesied in the Holy Scriptures, man. It says, and he carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land. Okay? So as you keep reading, it says, but they took counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into another country where never mankind dwelt. Okay? And that's speaking of the northwest hemisphere, man. Okay? That they might keep their statues, which they never kept in their own land. So they was like, we got to get the hell away from these heathen. All right, so what did they do? And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow palaces of the river. So no, the Native Americans didn't enter into no barren strait, mouths of ice where they would have died off, and that's how they got to the Americas. No, this is how they got to the Americas. Okay? They entered into the river, because some say they walked, and that this ain't talking about them going into the Americas. Okay? And all other sorts of theories. But this is how the Native Americans got over here. Okay? And this is where they met, the judgment of the Lord too. All right? Because for years they were living, chilling. All right? They were going off doing human sacrifice and doing, wickedness. But once Columbus came, man, and all of his counterparts, that was it, man. That was the judgment. It was set. Okay? It says, and they entered in by the Euphrates river, by the narrow places of the river, for the Most High showed signs for them, and hell stood, all right, the flood till they were passed over. Okay? He held stood the flood. Okay? Because those waters are very, very rough. Okay? And through that country, there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. All right? And the same region is called Arsareth. All right? Which means another land. All right? And they dwelt there until the latter time, And now when they should begin to come, the other tribes were brought over here as well via slavery on ships. And we're in the latter time. Okay? And as a result of them being over here, there's been various Hebrew relics found because the people over here are the Israelites. Okay? One of the greatest findings was the let's see here. The Los Lunas stone. Okay? The Los Lunas commandment stone. Okay? In which you could even see the name Yahweh on there, man. I'll just look at images. Now this is in Los Lunas, New Mexico. And like we say, there's more relics found amongst the native tribes than is found amongst Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. But there you see that stone, and that's Hebrew. Okay, that's Hebrew. Okay, and this is one of many findings. Okay, I believe some brothers went out there and actually did a lesson in front of that stone. But going back to the article, okay, it says, because of his religious background, this fueled the possibility that a remnant of the lost tribes of Israel had settled on this land. Okay? And you can keep reading it. Let's see if there's a lot more. Yeah, there's a lot more. I'm gonna read a little bit more. But you know, other brothers, you know, if you have the time, can go further into it. It says in 1893, Nazario wrote a short article titled Escritura Aborigin de Cario, original writing of the Carib, all right, in which he explained his interpretations of these carbons. After a thorough analysis of the stones and their inscriptions, he dismissed an Arawak, all right, Taino language, all right, origin, and by 1897 he concluded that the writings were more reminiscent of ancient Hebrew, comparing his discovery with the spoken Taino language of the day. All right, Nazario descends from the word in Taino Arawak, all right, language that were Semitic in origin and pronunciation. And the brother, the elder brother, the up and coming elder, man, his name is just escaping me. I just talked to him. I just did a chat with him, man. All right, the brother from Mississippi, man, the priest, you know, the elder, man, is one of my closest friends, but his name is escaping me right now. All right, his page is JUDAH777 is coming. He goes into that there's a lot of these Native American, all right, names, the names of these tribes. All right, Kazakh. His name is Kazakh, Salakia, man. It's been a rough last couple of weeks, man, mentally and spiritually. I'm sure you brothers are going through that same fight as well, man, you know. But at the end of the day, this work got to be done. It says one example is the Taino name for the supreme spirit of spirits is Yahya. All right, see, Yahya. All right. By comparison of the God of the monotheistic Hebrew culture is known by the abbreviated form of his name, sacred name, Yah, which his name is Yahweh. Yah just means he. So, you know, if I find something else interesting in this article, you know, I'll read it. It says the stones are inscribed in a language script previously unknown to linguists, all right, with expertise in Phoenician and Proto-Hebrew. Expert linguists deciphered the writing to be a mixture of Hebrew with a little bit of Phoenician and an unknown script. Using carbon-14 tests, which that's, you know, off, man. Carbon dating is off, man. Wind, water, you know, time, all right, resets carbon. All right, so carbon dating is a flawed method. Of red paint found on the stones, they have been dated to approximately 900 BC. That is the time when King David's son Solomon sent out ships from Tarsus throughout, all right, the world to collect resources like bronze and gold. Did some of those Hebrew sailors discover the island, all right, during their travels? Now, the beautiful part about it is when Solomon, let me see if I can find it. It took Solomon's navy, all right, and this is Mark 4:22. There is nothing hid which shall not be made manifest. There is not anything kept secret, but that it should come abroad. So all of these things are coming out for a reason, man. Okay. But I look up that one scripture where Solomon sent his navy. Let's see here. Yep. 1 Kings 10:22. 21. For all of King Solomon's drinking vessels were of gold. All the vessels of the house of the forest of Lebanon were pure gold. None were of silver. It was nothing accounted for in the days of Solomon. Solomon, man, he was balling. If a fly, hey, they ate off of pure gold plates. If a fly landed on the plate, they throw the whole plate away. You know, they had it, man. And that is coming back for eternity in the form of the throne of David being established on the planet Earth with Yahushai, all right, sitting on the throne. So we're going to have riches, I mean, that you know, in possessions out of this world. It says, for he had a navy, a navy, all right, of Tarshish with the navy of Hiram, all right, once in 3 years, the navy of Tarshish bringing gold and silver, of ivory and apes and peacocks, bringing things from this side of the world back there. But as you see, it said 3 years. All right. Now, when we read the Apocrypha, how long did it take, all right, the Northern Kingdom to get there, man? Okay. It took them a year and a half. Verse 45, for through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. Okay. But with Solomon's navy, it took 3 years, showing you they went to the same place. Okay, they showing you they went to the same place, man. So that was the northwestern hemisphere, the Americas, man. All right, which they called Osiris. They also call it Canaan, New Canaan. All right, that's where you get Canada. It's a form of Canaan. But, you know, I'll end it off here in Deuteronomy 33. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 33:29. Happy art thou, O Israel, who was like unto thee, O people saved by the Lord, the shield of thy help, and who is the sword of thy excellency. And thine enemies shall be found liars unto thee, and thou shalt tread upon their high places. And that's happening now, man. All right. Esau, Edom is being found out to be a liar through, you know, this truth at the forefront. But things like this do help to strengthen our faith, man. All right. And there's more. It's a whole long, you know, a lot written. But the Native American Indians are Israelites. They're one of the 12 tribes of Israel, man. Okay, and the tribe of Ephraim is the head of the Northern Kingdom, man. And see, here we're living in these times where the tribes are coming back together. Okay, I'll end it off here in Isaiah 11. And 13, the envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Judah shall not envy, Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. And you see that happening right now. Judah, all right, is vexing Ephraim by saying they're not Israelites. There's strife. You got the so-called Mexican and the so-called black at war, all right, hating each other. The so-called Mexican thinking they're Edomites, looking down on the so-called Negro. The so-called Negro looking at the Mexican and the other native tribes, saying that they're heathen. Well, at the end of the day, that's all going to depart, and the Lord is going to make us one again, and that's all happening via this doctrine, man. So You Negro-only Israelites, man, are denying prophecy, man. Because the scripture said in the latter days, the tribes will come to the understanding of who they were and preach. And you see a mass amount of so-called Mexicans, Native Americans, so-called Puerto Ricans, and all of that rising up. The Apostle Ramlab is an Ephraimite. You gonna tell me that's not an Israelite? You people are stupid as hell, man. But you're being confounded and you're denying the power of the Lord. You're denying prophecy, man. But more and more is going to be made manifest that this is the truth, man. All right, shalom.